Welcome back to the Crypto's Key conversation. As we all know, there's a lot going on right now. There's a massive negative narrative from multiple fronts. You have stuff that's going on in the U.S. with Jerome Powell, the Fed, and inflation. You have the Russian-Ukraine invasion stuff. You have the Canada FUD that's going on with the season of assets from the trucker blockades, and so much just negativity out there. And obviously, all markets have been taking a hit. Just earlier when I covered a video, we were almost down 10%, and we've seen Bitcoin in the 34,000 plus range, but now we're back up in 38. We're still sitting in this extreme fear range, which is a cause of concern because we were just I want to say like a week ago in the neutral range. Yeah, right here it says neutral 52 just last week. So obviously there's still a lot of uncertainty within the markets. In this video, I wanted to cover a little bit more about what's going on with the Ripple versus SEC stuff. And in our later video, we're going to talk a little bit more about what's going on, with the geopolitical stuff and how it's affecting our crypto market as well, and cover some of blockchain backers' technical analysis as well. But looking at this article from AMP Crypto, I thought it was quite interesting. It says XRP lawsuit, there's a pretty good chance SEC will lose all merits. So just the other day, we covered Joseph Hall on Thinking Crypto. He had an interview on Thinking Crypto, and he pretty much was saying XRP holders have unfounded speculation in what they're saying is a conspiracy theory. Now, we have him saying that the SEC will lose all merits in regards of, their position within the case, suing Ripple. So coming out here, we're just going to go through this article and see, what the key points were. So it says, ever since the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission sued Ripple Labs over selling unregistered securities in the form of their cryptocurrency XRP, the financial community has remained divided over the credibility of the watchdog's allegations. The case has since 2020 seen a number of twists and turns, even as substantial rulings over the same are yet to be made. However, the most recent developments have suggested that Ripple might be on the winning side for now, as it won a number of key motions that could be critical in proving its fair motion defense. Namely, the court ruled in favor of Ripple last week to unseal two key documents the company claims will shed light on how the agency classified XRP back in 2012 when it first came to circulation. In a recent podcast, attorney Joseph Hall, who specializes in capital markets and digital assets, expresses sympathy towards Ripple's due process arguments, which claims that the company was not given fair notice that its actions were deemed illegal, even as it had been in operation since 2012. He added, in quote, "I'm not sure what the SEC is planning on proving through the XRP litigation either. I continue to be perplexed by why the SEC decided to bring that case. Their entire regulatory project could be basically shut down. They'll lose all their merits here. And I think there's a pretty good chance that they will lose all the merits." So that's a pretty powerful statement, especially coming from one that literally just said, what we as the XRP community have been servicing with them in their own words, them on video, as unfounded speculation and conspiracy theorists. Coming out here says, whom the case turns in favor of is yet to be seen. However, as the preceding months have mostly been marked several discovery disputes and delays from both parties, which Hall referred to as little skirmishes in the bigger scheme of things, as any major rulings have yet came out. It should also be noted here that the case has now become bigger than two parties involved, as over 65,000 XRP holders that they're talking about the class action lawsuit has also joined the proceedings under attorney John Deaton. About the same, Hall noted, quote, "It is pretty compelling that the investors themselves are showing a lot of unhappiness and concern here. It's something that could matter to the judge, but I don't think the anger of the XRP community is going to have any sort of deciding role in what the judge determines. Instead, judgments will be reliant on the 1946 Howey test, which is the base of American securities laws and determines whether an asset can be considered a security or not. While Hall believes that these should not be applied to digital token distribution, he added that the SEC cannot be blamed for their aggressive approach because this is what they are signed up to do." Really? Or are they signed up to protect investors? Moreover, there's always the threat of retaliation from Congress if things go south in the crypto market, the lawyer said. Nevertheless, he opined that substantial action over the course of the years can be expected in the case since the discovery phase is at its end. However, since litigation moves slowly and appeals can be expected on the district level where the case is being fought, reaching a solution this year would be highly unlikely, according to Hall. So that would be problematic. Obviously, we don't want the case to end unless, Ripple and XRP get the regulatory clarity they need and XRP gets the non-security status. Obvious. But we want this thing to be wrapped up. I mean, it's been since, December 2020. We kind of want to get this thing rolling. It says, unless, of course, both parties agree to a settlement which also seems unlikely at the moment as the SEC continues to safeguard documents it has been ordered to reveal by the court, Deaton had claimed earlier. So that's what we're talking about is there's people wondering why the case isn't being thrown out. And Johnny Deaton's constantly talking about, well, the judge only makes decisions based on the motions that, are placed in front of her or in front of them. So it's like they're not going to necessarily throw out the case because that's no party with the SC or Ripple has thrown out the motion to dismiss the case. So that's not even an option. The point is like Ripple's not going to settle unless they get the regulatory clarity they need. And obviously the SEC isn't going to settle if they don't feel like they're in the position of power and dominance within the case. Now, with the case going, the distance and all these other information coming out, especially if we get these documents that the SEC is supposed to present to the courts, we can be closer. We can say we are closer to some sort of definitive answer to whether this case is going to be settled or there's going to be a win on either side. Obviously there's been a lot of positivities when it comes to the Ripple side of the case, but until they're the end of discovery and all the Jeremy Hogan talks about we have 5 out of 100 pieces of evidence. So it's kind of hard to make a determination of how the case is going to be. So it's like as we get more and more evidence, as discovery comes to a conclusion and everything kind of comes up, then the likelihood of a settlement or an end of the case is more likely. So looking at this tweet here, this is from Yasan. It says expert discovery is about to end in a few days. So both Ripple and SC have pretty good idea of the other cases in terms of strength and weakness. So knowing this might serve a catalyst for settlement if one believes the other case is really strong. So Don Deaton says, I stand by what I said long ago. There won't likely be serious settlement talks until the SC must turn over the documents. Can both sides evaluate the strength and weaknesses of their respective sides? Absolutely. How does Ripple evaluate without all the evidence? Is XRP in docs? So that's the truth. And until, like I just said, until the evidence is presented to where, both sides can really have a definitive, comfort level in where they stand in the case, settlement isn't going to be on the table. Coming over here, I wanted to touch on this tweet thread Bill had put up. So coming up here, he had posted this. He says, let me go ahead and exit out of this. He said, SC lawyers he's responding to Johnny Deaton, where Johnny Deaton said, I teach trial advocacy at law school. I always tell the students not to lose credibility with the judge or the jury by saying things that aren't true or ignoring the truth. The SC lawyers took no such class when they went to when they went to law school. So just to quickly touch on that, there's been a lot going on within the case, and if you've been following the case, you know that the SC's been talking out of both sides of their mouth. They say one thing. William Hemmons, Ethereum free pass speech was his personal opinion, and then when they were forced by the courts to provide those drafts that led up to that speech, they quickly said, oh, well, we have DPP. This was a part of, deliberation within a specific sector within the SEC. So then they went from saying his personal opinion to saying, no, this is part of the corporate finance within the SEC. So it's like they're kind of contradicting themselves. So he's talking about the truth. So at one point you're saying you're telling this story, but then at the next point you're telling another story. And then something else came out when it came to the library case, because the library's in litigation with the SEC as well. They're undergoing a lawsuit right now as well. And library just posted a tweet, and I just showed it in our recent video, when they're saying the SEC just said that they have not provided whether Bitcoin and Ethereum are or are not a security. So, they were talking about Bill Hemmons' Ethereum free pass speech was his personal opinion. That's what they said. They said Bill Hemmons' Ethereum free pass speech was his personal opinion. So they're saying that in that case, but then in the Ripple versus SC case, they're saying that no, this is part of our corporate finance sector within the SEC. So it falls under DPP. So it's like, okay, where's the truth at in this? So coming over here, Bill responds saying the SC lawyers seem to be comfortable on the ethical borderline with their allegation that XRP has no utility and is a security per se, which they must know are not sustainable. Their change of position on Hemmons' speech in the SIR reply effort and campaign of delays, I would think a regulator would act as a model litigant and not in a win at any cost manner, given that self-interest or any motive other than just outcome on the evidence should not be part of the prosecutor's or government agency's roles as prosecutor or plaintiff. And Digital Asset Investor responding to this says, it should mean something to say, I represent the United States. Absolutely. It says you represent justice and fairness. It shouldn't be about winning at all costs. You must be better than the attorneys who represent only the interests of the defendant. You represent the integrity of the system. So hands down, and quite honestly, when it comes to integrity and just and fairness and investor protection, we all know based on their own SEC's words, them on video and their actions that that's not the case, and it's sickening. Ending on this, so I covered Johnny Deaton and Digital Asset Investors interview that they had the other day, and I just wanted to end on what he said here at the end. And just when he says Ripple, just put XRP into the same perspective, but it's pretty powerful. Let's take a listen in.
So, I can't say, go out and buy Ripple. That's not my job. But I can tell you, there's a lot of cryptocurrency platforms that would not survive a 30-month investigation. And
so take that for what it is. I mean, that's the truth. I mean, does that show, Ripple's and XRP staying power? Obviously, Ripple's the company, XRP is the digital asset, but it's like, does that show, their staying power, their relevance, their strength as a company and as a digital asset? I mean, you see how big the XRP community is. They're all educated and they're, united as one and strong and providing, all this information and sharing it on the Twitterverse, fighting the good fight. That says a lot right there. So take it for, however you want to take it. But the point is clearly the SEC is in over the head and they picked the wrong fight for sure. XRP lawsuit, there's a pretty good chance SEC will lose all merits. I think this is already happening as we speak. With all that being said, stay strong out there. Be safe.